Welcome back, traders and investors. We have Jeffrey Barron on the line. He is an analyst at the U.S. Energy Information Administration Office, concentrating on energy markets and financial analysis. Jeff, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
We're doing good here on this Monday morning. Before we get into all the good questions here, can you just give us a little bit of background on your education and kind of how you ended up working for the U.S. government?
Yeah, no problem. Well, my background is studied economics and international relations in grad school, and really fell in love with energy markets and looking at the geopolitics and global interplay that energy plays in the world. And finished up a few years ago. Worked for the state of Maryland for a little while, doing more localized stuff with their regional greenhouse gas carbon trading scheme that they were getting into. And been with Energy Information Administration for a little over a year now, working on their financial markets
Okay.
initiative.
And the data that you analyze, where does that data come from?
Well, so most of it, we collect a lot of it ourselves. So, U.S. EIA, we're very much the authority when it comes to independent statistics gathering. So some of the reports that we gather are things like the weekly petroleum status report, the weekly natural gas report, which I'm sure a lot you guys and a lot of your listeners follow. So most of the stuff that I analyze is stuff that we collect. Now, for the particular article that you guys contacted me about, that was, all that data, the financial data, is public information, but we subscribe to a third party, Evaluate Energy, that sort of aggregates a lot of that so that it's a little bit easier to manipulate, and you can kind of take a bunch of companies and look at a bunch of different line items, and that's one of my main jobs, is kind of following them.
So you get that you're getting data or you're compiling data from these companies that are involved in the sector.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, we get a lot of you name it. They have a lot of smaller guys in there. They have a lot of all the majors, a lot of the national oil companies, all the ones really that are submitting public data to the SEC as it required every quarter and every year.
Okay, and then so do you do daily reports, weekly reports? How often do you put things out?
So I guess a few of the products that we release to the public that are the most useful, and for you and your listeners, are going to be, and ones that I work on, are things like This Week in Petroleum. That comes out every Wednesday afternoon after the weekly petroleum status report, where we look at some type of trends or any type of new piece of news in uh, oil and petroleum product markets, and do a short analysis piece on that. The short-term energy outlook is a monthly report that is going to be coming out next Tuesday, so we release it the second Tuesday of every month. That's useful because it's a short-term forecast of United States as well as global production, consumption, prices. We just kind of do some modeling and do a forecast or a projection. Another product that I work on a lot is a supplement to that STIO, the Market Prices and Uncertainty Report, which is very much focused on the financial markets. It's looking at the crude prices, the price spreads, product prices, natural gas. We're looking at options markets and volatilities. We do sort of a monthly update on all these different charts and anything else that's interesting in the markets. And then in terms of this quarterly and annual stuff, some of that is more internal, but a lot of that, if I can, find some interesting trends or whatnot, we'll do this sort of Today in Energy article where we're trying to be more energy now, what's going on in the markets right now, and publish interesting analysis pieces on those.
And does any of your work used by the administration, for determining its policies or, its production quotas or whatnot? Is the administration use any of your information?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is EIA, we are an independent agency within the Department of Energy. So we are not policy based or anything. We're completely policy neutral. Um, as I kind of say, we're just the facts, as I like to put it to other people. And so with that, it's good in that you can sort of trust our numbers that we collect everything, and when we analyze it, it's just looking at the facts. We don't assume any policy cases in any of our forecasts unless it's clearly announced that something's going to be put in place. And whenever the administration does cite any type of numbers, I think during the State of the Union address, he was citing a lot about the natural gas production increases. Those all come from our statistics department that does all the surveys and collects all the production data from the companies and finalizes the reports. I like to liken us almost to the Census Department or something, where we're independent, we collect the data, we have teams that do nothing but that, and we have teams that also analysis and projections.
Okay, and then so it's used by the information by the administration and also the companies that help you put the information together. They also use the reports for their longer term analysis.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in recent years, particularly, EIA has started to really improve its reputation and get it sort of grounded as a fundamental agency if you want to know anything about global energy markets and United States energy markets. We recently had our conference a few weeks ago, had almost a thousand there, and there are people talking about some of the crucial issues going on in energy markets right now. So it's a big deal, and I think I've talked to just some guys, and they say they read This Week in Petroleum every single week, and they look at the market prices and uncertainty report that we publish, and it's a good public resource for people that want to learn about energy markets.
All right. Well, I got a tough question for you here. I mean, you're analyzing all the specific data and everything, but how do you factor in the geopolitical risks and everything that's going on in Israel, Russia? I mean, obviously, you see tremendous moves in the oil market, based on geopolitical factors. You just try and kind of just put that aside and say, hey, I have no way to predict that, or is there some kind of fear premium that you have to put into your analysis?
Well, yeah, you asked how we do that, and the answer is very carefully.
Okay. Okay.
So it's we like I said, we do touch on those issues in our short-term energy outlook, and one of the numbers that we try and track is the sort of the global unplanned outages. And in making our forecast, we might say, okay, we forecast, like just sort of an overall OPEC number or a non-OPEC supply number for supply. And with that, there could be some discussion of unplanned outages going forward, or if we think that the unplanned outages are going to bring the supply back online, for example. But it's one of those things where you're right. It's tough to see what's going to happen, and you just got to kind of look at it by day, week by week, and when we make our projections, we try our best to see what the global balances are looking like. And of course, you can't talk about global balances without talking about geopolitical risk.
Okay, and is this all this information that you provide, is this free?
Yeah, absolutely. If you go on our website, EIA.gov, you go to, I would recommend you look at some of the topics and sources and uses. You can look at short-term energy outlook, and on that page, you click on the price uncertainty tab. You're going to go through everything that I was talking about earlier when we go into the volatilities, put some charts, prices, spreads. You can subscribe to This Week in Petroleum or Today in Energy, where you get an email when the TWIP comes out.
Oh, really? Okay.
every single week. This past week, we were just talking about looking at the December 2014 delivery price spread between RBOB and heating oil, and just talking about what's going on in the petroleum product markets and what the market participants have for their expectations about the future.
Okay, so if you are trading the oil or the energy markets, it's probably worthwhile to check out the site, check out the analysis here by Jeffrey Barron, an analyst at the U.S. Energy Information Administration Office of Energy Markets and Financial Analysis, getting to true fundamental data, which really moves the markets. We could talk about the charts and whatnot, but it's really the fundamental data that moves the market, and that's what you spend your time doing. So I encourage our people in the chat room, if you're active in the oil or futures or energies markets, to check out his website. Jeff, thanks for coming on for your take on the energy market. We hope to have you on again.
All right, thanks for having me.